Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
It is picked off by the line. Darius Slay's got it. Coming back right side 25. Picks up a block at the 30. Darius at the 40.
Drink it in, drink it in. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
Rolls to the right. Stafford throws deep. Got a man out there. End zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Marvin Jones.
Stafford! Drink it in, drink it in.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Cornbread.
Stafford! Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
Detroit Koolaid, what's going on, everybody? It is Friday. We're back here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. This is your boy Oakery. We had a fun show on Wednesday. We talked all about the big Giants victory, and me and Grifka broke down the trade deadline. We know the Lions didn't do much, but me and Grifka had plenty to say about the rumor and innuendo about the trades they could have made. We talked about Grifka's man love for Darius Slay, how he shook his hand, and how he was so worried he'd leave because he really likes him as a football player, and I broke down why it might have made sense. Bob Quinn didn't do any of the above, sat there, and is going to sit with his current team. But Grifka, we're here on a Friday. We're here to talk about a game against the Oakland Raiders, a team that you predicted early on in the season. The Lions would go out there and get beat down by the Oakland Raiders, and I laughed at you. Here we are. The Lions have kind of been hit or miss. We're hoping they can go out and get a dubski. We're here on a Friday talking football. Grifka, how are you, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, man, I'm tired, man. I just got done cleaning up my yard from toilet paper and broken eggs because, man, I was handing out Detroit Kool-Aid packets on Halloween as opposed to, Snickers or M&Ms.
Grifka, you know the kids love the Detroit Kool-Aid. It's just you that doesn't like the Detroit Kool-Aid when one thing goes wrong for our team or when we get a few losses under our belt. The kids love the Detroit Kool-Aid, and the reason you got toilet paper all up in your trees because you probably were handing out those disgusting almond joys that you were mowing down after our tailgate. One, I've never seen anybody eat an almond joy in my life, I don't think, let alone I think you put down at least a half dozen. That's probably why they're upset. Nobody likes coconut candy. I mean, it's disgusting.
Oh, man. I know plenty of people that love almond joys and mounds, man. Especially coconut makes you think of the South Pacific at this time of year, especially in the fall. Warm, tropical. Yeah, love me some almond joys and mounds.
Everybody likes coconut, but not with chocolate and in candy. They like it in trees and in hot weather. You're telling me you actually know one other human being that loves almond joys?
I'm always fighting some old lady for a bag of them at Target. So.
You probably like black jelly beans too, son. All right, here's what we're gonna do. This is totally impromptu, people. We did not plan this, I promise you. Because Grifka loves almond joys and I don't believe him. Grifka, we're having an impromptu candy draft right now. I even have the sound effect. Grifka, you are on the clock with the first pick in the candy draft. We'll do 3 picks apiece. Who you got?
Oh, okay. Since I'm picking, I'm a parent. Of course, I always steal my kids' candy. If I'm digging through their bag, with the first pick I'm looking for the peanut M&Ms. Why, you ask? Because I'm giving up government secrets for M&Ms. That's how much I love M&Ms. Plain peanut, but I'm going with the peanut.
No, God, please, no.
I like the peanut M&Ms. I'm kind of mad you took them from me.
Help me. Help me.
So I'm on the clock here at number 2. Let me think. This is totally off the cuff. Number 2 in the first ever Detroit Kool-Aid candy draft. Grifka, at number 2, now that I think about it, it's kind of a no-brainer. Give me the Reese's peanut butter cups, and better yet, put them in the freezer as well. That's a steal at number 2. In any other draft, that goes 1. I guarantee it.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Can't deny, good pick. So that means peanut butter. That means M&Ms are off the board and peanut butter cups off the board. So let's see.
Reese's, get it right.
Oh, Reese's. Okay. So once again, if I'm digging in my kid's bag and those 2 candies are gone, I'm going for the Snickers, man. Why? Because it satisfies.
Grifka going Snickers, going chalk. Mel Kiper shaking his head. Me thinking like Snickers is not bad, but I don't know if it's the number 3 pick overall. I am on the clock here with the 4th pick. Give me with the 4th pick overall, my second selection. Give me my grandpa's favorite. Give me Butterfingers at 4.
Butterfingers.
Bow, 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 bow. Oh yeah, like
Butterfingers.
it's an incredible candy.
Any Butterfingers I've ever, ripped open, it's always like busting into pieces, and the bottom of the candy bar is already like broken up, and it's like God, one of the most messiest candy bars of all time. Then you bite into it, and it like sticks in your teeth, and you're just like, you get like lockjaw trying to eat a Butterfingers. But okay, if that's what you like, I mean I think that's a bit of a reach right there. That's like taking a tight end in the first round with the 8th pick. What I think, but anyway, so. Okay, if we're going number 3.
Wow.
Exactly. Number 3, if I had to pick one out of all the candies out there, I've already got 2 chocolates right there. Trying to think, gosh, is there something else that I could take? Gosh, I don't want to sound healthy and say Raisinets because that's more like an 8th round pick, but exactly. I gotta do it. I know it's another chocolate candy, but I always like Twix, so I'm gonna take Twix, and I don't care if it's right or left side. So Twix would be my 3rd pick.
Oh man, Twix is not bad.
Hey, what happened?
That's what people say when you get the caramel. You do have to go with the peanut butter Twix, I think. Oh man, I'm caught between 2 candies here with my final selection, Grifka. Let me think here. Oh, with my 3rd selection in the Detroit Koolaid Cast candy draft. Again, I went with my favorite first. I went with my grandpa's favorite. I'm gonna go with my mom's favorite. It always makes like a great gift for her as a side gift. You might get the card, you might get the flowers, but the knockout punch, as I just played for you, the candy that nobody says this to.
Nope.
The candy that nobody laughs at, Grifka. But I do think some people might think it's this.
That's terrible.
But I don't think so. I think this is a good candy. I think this is well worthy of a sound bite. Grifka with the 3rd pick. I'm going to go with an off the radar pick, as I like to do in the draft and in the candy draft. Give me Kit Kats at 3.
Woo!
You can put those in the freezer too, even better. Absolute incredible. Give me the Kit Kats.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, Kit Kat's not a bad pick. The only thing is sometimes like when you try to break one off, they don't bust right, and they like bust in half. It's just like, man, or like you get those freaky people that just kind of like bite the whole thing. It's like, what are you doing? You can't eat a Kit Kat that way.
Just do it!
Yeah. It's like those people are obviously deranged, the people that just bite into it like a regular like wafer. It's like you gotta break a piece off and eat it like one wafer at a time. You just can't bite into it like it's a sandwich. It's like, oh.
Grifka, you got some major issues with the cleanliness of your candy, the way you gotta eat your candy. Nobody's worried about what's in the Butterfingers or how you gotta break off the Kit Kat. You're too busy saying this when you should be eating your candy.
What the hell are you doing?
Just eat the candy and like it.
Exactly. Hey man, I'm glad you picked those 3 because I would have had to reach through the phone at some point and just slapped you if you would have said like candy corn or something like that, because those things just like those things belong in a you shoot those things out of a shotgun at you. Here, take these and just get rid of them. But yeah,
my other sleeper pick who I would have traded down for, Grifka, is 3 Musketeers. You can't go wrong there either. Again, the marshmallow inside and with the little chocolate, that's another great candy.
Yeah, see, I mean, like I like the Milky Way as well. So
Milky Way's not bad. There's some candies I only like if you get them, like, which I never buy like a large candy bar anymore. You know how back in the day you'd get either like king size, you get an actual candy bar. I never do that, but if I do, I go with like either the Nut Rages or the what's the one with the funky name that has like the peanut butter? Oh gosh, like those are good. Like if you get the actual candy bar, but you can't get a mini. Like some of the ones we named off are where you go mini and you go, like you said, sneak it out of your kid's bag, or like back in the day when we'd be toiling around town with the mask on, you were hoping like, oh, please give me some good candy. Don't give me that crap candy or that, that candy corn or that bag, where people put all this garbage can it, put it in a little baggie, try to make it look good. It's like, just give us the retail candy, like the little bite-sized chocolate. We're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. But I think we're gonna have to put a poll out on Twitter to see if people like myself prefer Almond Joy and Mounds, or people just can't stand coconut. So we're gonna have to throw that out there on Twitter.
That's going up on Halloween. Is the do you like Almond Joys or any kind of coconut candy? Yes, no. I'm telling you, yeses are barely going to be in the 20 to 30 percentile range. Maybe.
Do the snowballs count? Like the Hostess snowballs?
Oh, if you're a weirdo, you're a sicko. They do. Oh, nobody's voting for snowballs.
At Halloween,
the
coconut's orange. We all know this. Right? Like around Easter time, it's pink, and Christmas time, it's white. It's like, oh, it's a snowball, but you can't call it a snowball when it's pink. So.
Grifko, we got to talk football. You're grossing me out with this coconut, and now you're coloring the coconut. Oh my goodness, we got to move on.
Okay.
As normal, I smoked you in that draft. What do the people expected?
That's okay, but let's do this. Let's take a pause for the cause here, and then we'll get back and break down this Oakland game.
Yeah, we'll do. Everybody had a little fun there off the top. Normally we just talk football, but with it being Halloween, we had to get that in. And like I say, that was literally, we had not talked about it, and it was just fun to do a draft. We got to do more drafts, Griff. We'll have to come up with random topics. Everybody likes a good draft, so I'll have to do that more. But we'll take a quick break for our sponsors. We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. In breaking news, leading scientists worldwide are conducting experiments to determine if Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are the perfect combination of peanut butter and chocolate. However, it appears the study was inconclusive, as the scientists couldn't help but eat all the Reese's. Because when you want something sweet, you can't do better than Reese's. Find Reese's now at a store near you.
If you went on a road trip and you didn't stop for a Big Mac or drop a crispy fry between the car seats or use your McDonald's bag as a placemat, then that wasn't a road trip. It was just a really long drive. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's.
Everybody, we're back. We're here to talk about the Raiders and a Friday show. This is where I kick it to Grifka. He tells me about some goofy article he read or some question, and then I rip on him and give a intelligent answer to the people. Go ahead, Grifka.
Well, actually, I didn't really read any articles of reference to this game because, once again, a lot of the articles this week had reference to the trade deadline and thinking that, the Lions may take this person. But, since that, none of that happened. And then everything just got into the basic breakdown of this game. So let me ask you the most basic question right here. I know when I picked this game, I use the old West Coast going or East Coast going to West Coast, and it's usually doesn't look good, and they're in Oakland, so we don't have to worry about the dirt infield anymore because the baseball season is over for the A's. My biggest question is to you before we get into like players in position. Has this Oakland team been at least some sort of surprise to you? Are they better than what you originally thought, going into the season?
Oh boy, Grifka, this is where I usually and probably will ask you, is this a real question? But first of all, like, this is the second straight show where I let you sneak in baseball talk. Did you realize that? Like, I let it slide last show. I can't believe I did that. But you just started going on about the sport we shall not speak of, and I let it go. So this is 2 shows in a row you brought it up. I think you're pushing your luck, don't you think?
Yeah, I'll let it. Yeah, the baseball season's now,
I banned it.
So,
I banned it from day one.
Over, so we have to wait till February. So yeah, it's cool. I won't talk about it until February.
Okay, so you're asking me about your Oakland Raiders, the team that you thought the Lions had no chance about going out to the West Coast. Like, have they surprised me? Like, no, because the players that I thought they were actually decent on their team had played halfway decent. Tyrell Williams was one of my guys when it comes to fantasy football when he's been healthy, which he probably missed, I think, 3 weeks there, but he came back this past week and put up nearly 100 yards and a touchdown. He's been good. Josh Jacobs, who I liked in the draft process, he's the top, back taken, could run it, could catch it, kind of do everything. Pretty thick, guy, came from good program. He's been good. Derek Carr gets a lot of grief, but I've always liked not only his deep ball, but just kind of, if he's protected and if he has a few weapons out there, again, a few years ago, he was in the MVP race, so he can do some things. Now, with all that being said, there's not too many other guys that really scare me either on offense or on defense. So, they've hung with a few teams. I mean, their record is, a little bit below the Lions, I believe, but other than this being a long trip out west and kind of, like you said, just sort of that team we don't play that often, or a team that has a little bit of a wild card factor with John Gruden with the headset. I mean, I'm looking at this football game going, man, this is one, the weather should be fine. The surface will be fine. Like you said, no reason that Matt Stafford can't keep it cooking and we can't go and lock up their offense, from, if Slay and other people are back, but I expect points in this game. I would expect the offense to go anywhere from 25 to 35 when it comes to Stafford and company. Just being able to sling it on Oakland.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned Derek Carr, and yeah, you're right. I think he throws a really good deep ball. And like you said, Terrell Williams came back, and was it a few weeks ago they traded for Zay Jones, and Zay Jones can actually, get down the field and really stretch it. But they also have Hunter Renfrow, and he had a long touchdown, but we all know he's not all that fast, and
he's not that
he's not that great, and
he's pretty good in college.
Yeah, Darren Waller and Foster Moreau is kind of surprised. I mean, especially Darren Waller has really surprised me for Oakland this year. Now, with it seems like the Lions' pass defense without Slay is, it's not that great. Do you think they're going to be able to maybe slow down Derek Carr in this deep ball offense?
You brought up Darren Waller. I mean, I want to hit on him. He's a guy I knew nothing about coming into this year, and then I kind of read up on him. He was on the down low when it comes to fantasy, and I snagged him in a couple of those 32-team leagues, gave him a big contract. Now he has a documented drug history, so he's kind of like Josh Gordon. Like, even if he was good, like, I just don't know, how long would that last? The Raiders obviously think a long time because they extended him. But yeah, he's not only somebody to worry about in general, he does play the tight end position, which, has given the Lions fits basically every game since I've been alive. So, you're asking about the deep ball. Tyrell Williams. Did you bring up somebody else on the deep ball, or just Derek Carr? Zay Jones. No. Zay Jones they picked him off the scrap heap from Buffalo. He's half crazy too. I don't know how long he'll be in the league. He had a lot of draft pub, and he's not cut it in the NFL. He makes a play every now and again, but no, he doesn't worry me really at all. I don't see them getting deep. I mean, as long as Tracy's good to go, I mean, I can't talk highly enough about our safeties. I mean, me and Hughes and a few other friends, we all looked at each other just in our text chats and stuff and said, like, Tracy Walker's fun to watch, man. This guy, like, nobody knew him in that third round. Just his physicality, his mentality. Love watching him play. So if he's out there and they're giving Will Harris, I did not notice, Will Harris from a negative perspective. So that's a good thing in his first start. I don't see them getting deep. I mean, I see them trying to go deep, but I see us kind of being able to handle that. I would still worry about the run game a little bit, and just maybe some dink and dunk type passing has seemed to be what hurt us more so than, those 40, 50 yard over the top type passes.
Yeah, that I think they're going to be able to get pressure on Carr, kind of like they did with Danny Dimes last game against the Giants. Oakland's offensive line, it's not that great. So it's really not. It's one of those things, like, I think the only guy I know starting on it is like Reggie Incognito, and everybody's heard about him. I mean, that guy can be tough and nasty, but he'll be
suspended before we get to Sunday.
Yeah, that Oakland offensive line isn't as good as it was a few years ago when they made that playoff push until Carr, busted up his leg, and then they had to go with Connor Cook, and they lost to Houston in the first round of the playoffs. But I think the Lions' defensive front will be able to get some pressure on them if they continue to blitz Davis like they did last game against the Giants. I know Carr's, kind of he's more of a veteran than Jones, and he's seen more. Or I'm sorry, yeah, Dan Jones, he's seen more, but still, Davis is fast enough to put pressure on him, make him make mistakes. Especially Carr's one of those guys that will do that. He seems, more than happy to throw an interception when you put pressure on him. Unlike, Aaron Rodgers he would throw it away. Carr's going to try to stick the ball in there. So, and like you said, Garden, Waller, and Moreau, that's going to be tough, especially for the Lions. They just never seem to do that.
Griff, I just want to get it right. This is two shows. I let you talk about baseball, and this is two shows where you've given Jared Davis some pub. I mean,
I do declare. Now I'm done. Rack me.
Now you're done. You love Jared Davis, don't you, Griffco? Like, can we declare that? Are you going to go get a jersey now?
No, love's a very strong word when it comes to that. Let's see him not overrun a couple plays and actually shoot the right gap on a run play before I start throwing the word love around.
Did you see him get after the quarterback, Griffco?
Oh my God, the quarterback is toast.
Jared Davis just coming up the middle, just blowing up quarterbacks, and you still want to hate on him for his coverage or for something else. Like, the guy's a good player.
For his coverage, yeah, okay. Yeah, a big part of his game is linebacker, his coverage. So yeah, okay, yeah, I'm gonna hate on him, because he can't cover anybody, and that's what offenses will do. It's like, hey, let's just make him cover somebody. Guy couldn't cover a coffee table. So anyway, so speaking of cover, he's
what about last game when he blew up the middle, or when he goes and gets David Carr and you hear this?
It's a fumble liar. Sergeant Fumbleina Wilkerson fumbles the ball.
How do you think John Gruden's going to like it when we knock the ball out of Derek Carr's hand at least two times? I guarantee 2 fumbles for little baby hands back there.
Wow, 2 fumbles. I mean, I'll bet you a soda on that. That's for the rest. That's for the rest of America. I'll bet you a pop for all of us fans here in Michigan.
How about an almond joy instead? Because then I won't care either way. But
no problem.
Look at Derek Carr's hands in this game. They look like they belong to like a 3-year-old infant.
That's I guess I've never really studied Derek Carr's hands. I guess they're odd looking.
Watch, like, the ball looks gigantic. I don't it's just odd looking to watch on Sunday. You won't be able to not look at his little baby hands.
Okay, I will. I'll definitely try to zoom in on Derek Carr's hands. I'll make sure he's on the field when he does that, though, so I don't look like, hey, stop that tape. I'm gonna rewind. Hey, go back to Derek Carr's hands. So I won't be doing that. But you speak of Jared Davis covering. I mean, I don't think Josh Jacobs runs a whole lot of pass routes out of the backfield. That's was it Jalen Richard does a little bit more than was it I think what DeAndre Washington's kind of like the third down back as well. I think Josh Jacobs he's kind of had hit or miss games, and for the Raiders this year, what do you see the run defense being able to do to slow down Josh Jacobs and the rest of that vaunted Oakland Raiders running attack?
Your Oakland Raiders, you mean?
I like the Raiders. I really do.
Is this where you go on like a 10-minute diatribe about their jerseys and that's why you like them, or like
they have like some of the coolest uniforms? How could you? I love.
Oh God, here we go.
Jim Plunkett, Lyle Alzado, Howie Long, Todd Christensen, Ted Hendricks,
killing our demo
John
like always.
Matuzak.
Nobody knows who these guys are.
Howie Long. Anybody watches Fox, for a Sunday morning, know who Howie Long is. But
yeah, he's the guy with the spiked haircut on TV. We don't.
Yeah,
we weren't watching back in the 70s.
He wears Skechers and he's always stuck in the middle seat on a plane. Yeah, I know. I've seen that. So
Skechers is like the one like marketing where you should just say no if you're a really good athlete. Like, no matter what they're paying you, like, no, I'm not promoting Skechers. Like, I don't want anybody to know. Even if you do wear them, you don't want the public to know that you rock Skechers. Yeah. Doesn't matter what the check says.
It doesn't matter. The Raiders have the greatest soundbite ever from NFL films, and it's in John Vicenda's voice. We all know it. The autumn wind is a Raider. It's like the greatest soundbite ever from NFL films. So go listen to it. If you love football, everybody's heard it, because you know why? I'm sorry, I'm a huge Lions fan, but they don't have a soundbite as cool as that. So That's another reason why I love the Raiders. So yeah, I guess I'll claim them as my Raiders, especially when they go to Las Vegas. Everybody loves to go to Las Vegas. That'll be the hardest ticket in the world to get. So, anyways, let's get back to the game.
Grifka, what's cooler, the Raiders and their jerseys or Roary for you?
Oh, it's got to be the Raiders and their jerseys. Because once again,
I thought that was a slam dunk Roary for you.
We're still trying to figure out who Roary is, because he's actually behind the safeties calling out which tight end, which wide receiver is wide open, telling the defense to guard that guy. So once again, I hyped about it a little bit on the last show. There are a couple names I'll throw out there. I might put a poll out on Twitter to say, like, who do you think it is, and people can nominate some people, but hit me up at Grifka at DKC.
So you're not giving up any of those names? They have to reach out to you on Twitter. You have to wait another episode before you unveil the Roary conspiracy theory?
No, I was going to talk about the game first, and that would have been our clip to end the show, because I want to throw a couple names out there.
So you're gonna hit them with the Roary conspiracy to end the show? You're gonna wrap it up with this like lifelong issue that we've had of who is Roary?
Well, yeah, it is Halloween week, so it can be kind of a mystery type thing,
You've figured this out, Grifka?
No.
Oh my! That's what we call a tease in the podcasting world.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, I had to put some thought behind it, so just give it a chance. I'll throw some names out there and see what people think.
Grifka, do you want me to answer this question finally about Josh Jacobs?
Yes, I'm looking forward to how the lines are going to slow down the almighty powerful Marcus Allen-esque Josh Jacobs.
All right. Well, first of all, you went on talking about how he doesn't catch the football. He may not have crazy catching numbers at this point, and they do have a couple other guys that can do it. But if you watched any, Alabama in your rocking chair there, you would have seen that this guy, only split time at Alabama, but he could catch it, he could run it. They went to him towards the end of the year in the biggest games. There's nothing this guy can't do on the football field, but because he's a rookie, they might be limiting him. Do not think that he can't catch it or he can't get out and pass routes, because they're starting to do that more with him, and that's why he's having some good games. I mean, overall, he's been really good as a rookie. I thought I heard a stat recently that he's ahead of, I can't remember if it was Saquon or a couple other people, just in regards to overall numbers at this point. I know those guys ended with pretty crazy stat lines, but I think he's got pretty sick numbers for rookies. So I think he can catch it. I think he's going to be their feature guy. I think that basically between him and I was going to say Tyrell, but like you mentioned, I'll give you credit on this one. I think it's going to be, if you can shut down Jacobs and Waller, I think that, you have a pretty good chance of beating the Oakland Raiders. And like I said, I just expect number 9 to come out with all the confidence in the world against a football team like this. I mean, they don't have crazy top end pass rushers. Their linebackers are they just traded away one of their decent corners. Some people don't like Conley, but I mean, I can't imagine you trade him away and then have a lot better people. I mean, they got Trayvon Mullins, who's only had one start in the NFL coming out of Clemson over there. So I expect him to light it up. So don't sleep on Jacobs, and also, hopefully we'll get to that offense. But Kenny's rolling. I'm hoping this is a Hawkinson game. We shouldn't have trouble moving the football.
Yeah, speaking of Oakland's defense, I'd have to say probably their best part of their defense is their defensive line. I mean, as what Jonathan Hankins is on it, and Maurice Hurst. I know Gruden was always big on Maurice Hurst coming out of Michigan. Was that they drafted Farrell in the first round, where everybody kind of scratched their head where they ended up taking him. And I think Arden Key is the other defensive end, and Arden Key was supposed to be kind of like a big name coming out of college, and he hasn't put up mad stats, but their linebackers really don't scare. They don't sound scary at all. I mean, Tahir Whitehead is on that team, for Pete's sake, and I think he's supposed to be their best linebacker. So, and they do have Nevin Lawson, as I think Nevin Lawson is not one of their starting corners, but I think he's maybe their nickel. And we also.
Did you say Nevin Lawson, Grifka?
Yeah.
Did you really bring up Nevin Lawson on the show?
Loser.
Are you calling me a loser or Nevin Lawson a loser? Because I'm kind of confused by that soundbite, right?
Take it as you want on that one,
okay.
But that was more directed towards Nevin Lawson, because he's a
loser.
Yeah, he was definitely one of those guys that I don't think did he even have an interception as a Lions defensive back? I guess I'd have to look that up. I don't think he ever
Grifka,
had
he had nothing. He had nothing as a
well,
Lions
he had
anything
he had a
except
scoop and
pass.
score one game. I remember he had a scoop and score one game.
Oh
He
my
had
gosh.
it was a fumble he returned for a touchdown a few years ago, and everyone's like, "Oh, Nevin Lawson's really coming around." I'm like, no, that was one play." But
Hold on, we can't not do it. You had to bring him up. I mean, might as well. Got to do it.
That's terrible. That's a terrible idea. That's a terrible idea.
And Grifka, you should know better. I would not call you a loser, except when you go into your SOL type things, and then I might have to play your music because often, the minute something goes wrong or when the Lions lose a game, you become one of these, and I have to play the music on you. But recently, because they won, you've been better, so I would never call you such a thing. But Nevin Lawson, it's a different story.
So you don't
Loser.
You think the Lions' offensive line will be able to hold up against Hankins and Hurst and Key and Farrell?
Yeah, I mean, they've been better than you and others would expect recently. I mean, Taylor Decker, the highest rated guy by PFF in the last, I think probably 2 out of the last 3 games. He's kind of been top rated on the offensive line. Hankins to me is just a big old run stuffer, a poorer version of Snacks where he just sort of eats up a lot of space, probably 330 some pounds there in the middle. Mo Hurst, I'm glad he's been healthy. He's been able to do some things, but I haven't seen his numbers really jump off the page to me. Just kind of a good interior rusher there. I don't see him getting big numbers or really doing too much damage in there. And Cleveland Farrell too is more of a Flowers or kind of a bigger edge set, play his role type of guy, not a guy that's going to just blow off the end and get those sack fumbles or destroy our quarterbacks. So not too many people that overly worry me, especially the way our line is playing. I mean, I think Frank's playing well in the middle, and that left side has been pretty good. It's just sort of keeping those rushers off that right side. I think Wagner still has trouble with speed, but I think we'll be pretty clean in that area. We need to be, because that's another reason Stafford's been so good, because he's had time, and when he has time, can stand up in the pocket and let it rip. He's really good.
Yeah, I can see this being much like the Giants game, just running the ball, not trying to force feed it, anything like that, using that more of a, plays here and there to keep the defense honest. Because once again, Lions haven't signed anybody, they didn't trade for anybody, so we're still kind of looking at those that, like you said last show, the pretty much one of the worst stable of running backs in the league right now. So I think the offense is going to have to be one of those now that it's Stafford, sorry buddy, but it's back on your shoulders. You're going to have to chuck the ball around the field, and we'll run the ball here and there just to keep the defense honest, so they know that they can do that. So but like I said, I don't think their linebackers, Tahir Whitehead is their best one. And you mentioned, Trayvon Mullen. I think he's finally broken into the starting lineup, and I think Darryl Worley's our other starting corner. I mean, he's okay. He's not that great. He's no Darius Slay, but it's one of those things where I think the Lions are going to be able to pass on him. And like I mentioned last show, you never quite know which wide receiver is going to go off for the Lions. And like you mentioned, Hawkinson could have a big game. I'm still kind of waiting for Jesse James. I don't know if they're just using him as, more of a blocker. They throw to him every once in a while. I thought he would be more effective in this offense, but he could be even one of those guys. He could, might, bust out for a few catches, maybe 50 yards and a touch. So that's nice to see this offense, finally, it seems like it's really clicking this year. So I guess with all that being said, and and I know everybody's just waiting on their edges of the seat for me to throw a couple names out there for Roary. Let's do this. So how about you give us a final score here? What's your final take on this game?
Grifka, this is a game I poked at you. You count it as a loss. Pretty much every game, I'm coming in here serving up that Detroit Koolaid, talking about W's. There's a little bit of the up-down theory that worries me about this game, how the Lions, everybody's saying, they should win this game, should go on a run, that sometimes worries me, as well as the long trips, even though I don't subscribe to your theory that it's an automatic loss. I don't know. I mean, I just think the Lions are very tough-minded. If Matt Stafford wasn't playing as well as he was, I'd have a little more trepidations about this game. But I think the Lions go out there. If they get Slay and Tracy Walker back, I feel even better. But they go out there reasonably healthy and sling it around and just barely keep them honest with the run game. I think this is a game where the Lions walk out with a really kind of high-powered victory, where you're talking like 31-21 type of game, like a 10-pointer, which to me is sort of a big time win in the NFL at the end, when you're talking end score. But I just feel like it's one where the Lions kind of get up on them, continue to keep the pedal decently down, and then the Raiders just don't have enough to keep up. And the score kind of flattens out there with a nice, not only a 10-point dub, but I see this kind of being like we wind the clock down, kind of that slow 4-minute offense, or we kind of end the game with the football and say, wow, not only a road win, but a 10-point road win, and a win where you kind of didn't have to bite your fingernails at the end. You kind of walked away and said, that's a really good road win by our football team, even if it is against, a somewhat lowly Raiders team. Like, that's how I see it going down.
Okay. The Raiders, they got 3 wins this year, and one came on was the first Monday night game where they played Denver, and we all know how good Denver is. And then they early in the season, they actually went to Indianapolis and beat the Colts, and the Colts are one of those surprising teams where a lot of people are predicting them. It's like, hey, they could beat the Patriots, something like that, with how well they're playing right now. And they came back and beat Chicago over in London. And the way I kind of look at that is like, Mitch Trubisky sucks, and I know they still had to put up points, and Chicago still got a pretty good defense. But I still think those 3 quarterbacks, Brissett has really improved for the Colts this year, and Denver and Chicago's quarterbacks just suck. They're not good at all. So Detroit has a much better quarterback than all 3 of those teams. So I think the reason how Oakland was able to win those games that they were able to get off the field and go down and score. But this is one of those games where I think Detroit's offense will be able to keep drives going. It seems like they've really kind of gotten out of that mold that they had early in the year, where they were just going to kind of sit on something and, kind of, play like really conservative in the second half. I think they've learned their lesson. Seems like they're trying to still take more shots down the field later in the games. So where Oakland was able to get off the field and, come back and win those games, I don't see that happening this time. I think, like you said, Detroit's going to get up. I don't know, a 10-point win. I could see it maybe being a little closer. Once again, East Coast team going West Coast. I still think it's going to be a closer game. I think it's probably going to be probably a 27-23 game is what I'm going to predict a Detroit win. I'm switching for my preseason pick because this is where they're going to start to stack up the victories. And they're going to go out to Oakland and win 27-23.
27-23 for Grifka. I got excited. I hit the quad. Yeah, I talked over him, but you know what he's saying. Grifka's flip-flopping, but we like it because he's going with the Lions.
Drink it in, man.
I love that you got that hot, crackling
Cornbread
coming out the oven. You're drinking that Detroit Kool-Aid, Grifka. It's about time. Now, will you do me one favor before you reveal the unbelievable mystery that is Roary? If the Lions go out there and something crazy happens, or they have a tough game, they don't win, will you still come back on the show with some decent energy and not be not totally down the dumps on me? I mean, we got to get this W, but it's somewhat a must win as well. But we ride this game out and not freak out and have confidence in our team, please.
Yeah, I will. I'll try to do that. I hate these 4:00 starts. You know how it is being here on the East Coast and waiting for those 4:00 ones. And it's like wishing your Sunday away, and I hate doing that. So, yeah, I'll work on that.
All right. So, like you say, I think it's a win as well. We both have it as a W. Grifka, the floor is yours.
Okay, like you said, this Roary's out there. I'm gonna throw some names out there. Guys. I'm thinking at first it could be, somebody who's like been around Ford Field, somebody who's kind of like a kind of like a security guy, watching over things. So at first I thought, first name, this is going to be probably the low percentage, looking maybe less than 10%. We all know you need some good security, so I thought of Joik Bell. Could Joik Bell? I'm like, no, Joik Bell played offense, and so it can't be Joik Bell. I'd still put him out there because he's obviously guarded stuff before. So 10% Joik Bell, less than 10%.
Hold on, I gotta
really
kill the music for 1 second, Griffka. Did you just break some news that Joik Bell used to be a security guard, maybe even for the Lions?
Yeah, that's something I really had to dig into, and it really took some Sherlock Holmes, stuff to really dig into doing that. So I don't know. It was like one of those things, like I had to search and really do digging. And as I was actually searching and doing that, I found some information that Jerome Bettis is actually from Detroit. I never knew that. Damn! Exactly. And here's one other hot take you might have known. I mean, sorry to bring up, the sport you don't want to speak of ever again, but everybody know that Matt Stafford and Clayton Kershaw, were childhood friends? And I realized Clayton Kershaw does play the sport we don't want to talk about, but they were childhood friends. There's actually pictures of them.
Yeah, I understand. I got it in my head, dude.
Unbelievable. You are just breaking down incredible. You're just breaking news, Grifka.
Exactly. So that's what I'm here to do.
You said Joik Bell is out. Is that right?
I'm going less than 10%, but he's still a possibility. Like I said, I want to get some fan votes on this as well. And the next one, kind of going old school, thinking, he's pointing it out. Looks like he's calling out a defense. I went with a linebacker. Now, I know it's not Chris Spielman because he's actually called some of the games. So it was a guy, could be, no, it can't be Chris because he was calling the game. So I went with, the poor man's Chris Spielman. And the guy that was next up, Stephen Boyd. Stephen Boyd, once again, good middle linebacker. He knew how to call it out. He was a good run stuffer. He couldn't, I'm sure he's calling out where the pass is going because he couldn't cover a pass either. I mean, he could stuff the run, but he couldn't pass cover. So, but I'm going somewhere probably around maybe 30 to 40% on Stephen Boyd.
Can I throw in a secondary linebacker that I have suspicions about?
Sure. I would love to hear your theories as well.
Grifka, I believe there's a guy. I believe you will remember him. He's a very suspicious character. I think that he fits the Roary mold. I would like to submit Zach Follett as a suspect. I believe he was a hard hitter. I believe he called someone a China doll, so I can imagine what he said to Jamal Charles after he took out his ACL. Zach Follett, give me the music. You are on my radar, sir. I believe you are a suspect, and a decent percentage that Zach Follett and his Lady Jane's haircut may be under that mascot outfit when it's all said and done.
Zach Follett, that's a good
He's got nothing better to do.
Yeah, and that's a good guess. I never thought of Zach Follett. I went right to Stephen Boyd because that guy was a hitter, like I said, but he couldn't cover, and I guess neither could Zach Follett. So that's a good guess. I could see that one as well. My last one, I went a little deeper. Had to go with safety. Thinking, okay, once again, the safety's back there pointing out where the coverage is, and I'm thinking strong safety, but no. It's not going to be a strong safety. Strong safety is going to be a little closer to the box. So I went with a free safety. And what made me think of this guy, because he was at training camp. Remember when we were there, at first we saw Dwayne White, because we were talking about some other guy wearing 55 white. And I'm like, who's 55 white? And you're like, it's probably his name. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. But then we saw Dwayne White. And I'm like, well, it can't be Dwayne White because he would have been trying to do a cover 2 and not sacking anybody. So who was the other guy they mentioned was signing? Free safety, William White. That's right. I'm thinking William White is Roary calling out, hey, he's over there. He played free safety. He could cover a little bit. He was on that 91 Lions team that that lost to the Washington Redskins in the NFC Championship game. He was the free safety on that team. So William White, he's my big number. I'm going probably, I'm probably going 60% William White as Roary. So those are my 3 guys. I love the Zach Follett. Choice, but I'm going, Joik Bell because he was a security guard. He, I guess, defending in quotation marks there. But Joik Bell, took some digging to find out some information about him. But then I went with Stephen Boyd, would be my second guess. Calling out the defense, pointing out, where the guy's open. But I'm leaning towards William White. Yeah, he used to play free safety. So those are my 3 guys. But I like the Zach Pollitt, Joyce. I really do. And I'm really waiting to hear from other people some ideas they may have as well.
Grifka, like the fact that you are on this case and that you have come up with the suspects you have, I have a few others that come to mind, but I'll leave it with your 3 and my wild card of Zach Pollitt and the Lady Janes. But with all the soapboxes you do, all these random articles, all this conspiracy nonsense, we may have to find some more cases too that you can sink your teeth into, because I think you're onto something here.
I could go for a case of Almond Joys, just to let you know I could really sink my teeth into those.
Oh, no, thank you. Yeah, mark for edit. No, Grifka, you got anything else, man?
Nope.
I thought this was a good show. I hope people love the candy draft. We seriously, like, the minute you brought up Halloween and with this show dropping the day after, that was fun to do the first ever candy draft for DKC. We'll have to do more of those with random topics, even though we pride ourselves on talking mostly, if not all, football. That was fun to do. Really looking forward to this Oakland game. I think it's going to be crazy. I think it's a must-have again for the Lions. I think it's one you don't want to get too high on, thinking that we're just going to walk in there and beat the daylights out of them, as somebody that I know would say. But I think it's a game that we can go out there and win. I think they're strong mentally. I think if we're healthy enough, we can get it done. And I think, again, we've been so proud and kind of pumping up Matt Stafford. This is another game where he can go, put another notch on his belt, go out there, be the gunslinger that he is with no run game, and bring us back a W from Oakland. So I'm looking forward to it. Everybody, thank you so much for checking us out. Please hit us up on Twitter. You can get at me at Derek Okrie, DEREK OKRIE. Definitely pull up Grifka at Grifka DKC, get his follower count up, as well as talk some football with him. And please vote in the Almond Joys poll that'll be coming out on Halloween. We know nobody likes coconut candies. I mean, that's obvious. And I can talk all this noise because Grifka said nope and he can't talk anymore for the show. So please vote in that poll, as well as interact with us online. We really enjoy that. Please leave us a 5-star review if you can on iTunes. And please just keep doing one thing, and that's drinking that Detroit Kool-Aid. Drink it in, everybody. Enjoy this game. Take care.
Drink it in, man.
Pack the bag. Start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions.
Drink it in, man.